Thank you for coming to waterdistillers.com. My name is Frank, and we're going to open up the head for the Dolfyn ARS3000. Sometimes opening up the boxes, because they're so well packed, can be a challenge. So this says this side up, so we're going to tilt it right now at this point in time, and we're going to open up the sides here. We're going to tip it back over with the flaps back down here again. The reason we do it this way is because, once again, it's packed so well that you can wrestle with it just trying to take it out of the box. So we're going to eliminate that. Okay, now we've got the top open. Now we're going to also do the bottom flap, but when I turn this over, you'll see how it's actually packed at the top. So we'll have this angle here, and this is what you're going to see. We'll take those filters out. There's a line there that'll come out here too just as well in a minute. Here we go, we'll tip this back up. We'll pull the top off. You can see how it's packed on the sides. We'll put that aside here. And this is what you'll see. It's also wrapped in this plastic wrapper once again to really protect it. We'll open that right on up. As you can see, it also has a stand on the bottom to protect it as well. So let's take a look now at what some of the major components are. If you take a look over through here, through this grate, you're going to see the cooling coils. The fan is down here. The grate is quite open with a lot of air circulation for it through the sides and through the top as well. Also, if you take a look here, this is the white portion where the incoming water will be connected to it. You have a bag here which shows your filter and your connections, along with a saddle valve, so you can make those connections quite easily. Let's turn this back around here too as well, so you can see the side of it, which is where your boiling chamber will be. Now your boiling chamber, there's a hood on it, and it's lifted on up something. You lift that right up like this, and you can see where the boiling chamber would be. Now it's packed, and it'll be packed this way. You'll be able to take this off. And this is basically where your water is drawn into, and this lid actually comes on off, and it's really great because it makes it very easy to clean it on out or to scale it when you have a lot of scale in there. And you'll probably see quite a bit of scale because there's a lot of contaminants or total dissolved solids in your water. Now, as you can see, it's on a stand here, and you'll actually lift this up and put it on your tank or reserve tank as well. So if you've opened this up first, you can just easily lift on up through here. This is your float ball, which will be going into your bottom tank here as well, and these are the stands that help support it or keep it totally in line. Stainless steel, by the way. And now we're ready to set it on top of your reserve tank. Now we're going to open up the 3.75 gallon tank for the Dolfyn AR18. This particular head, AR18 or A30D, which can also be called, will also fit on a 7-gallon tank, and a 12-gallon tank as well. So the procedures are really the same regardless of what tank size you have. The beauty of it is this 9-gallon per day production head will fit on both those, on all three of these tanks. Turn it around here too as well. Open up the sides and back. Let me show you how it looks when you unpack it. It's an open tank. Here are the components within the tank. We'll set that aside right now. And the tank is completely open. We'll draw it right out this way. I'll set this aside. Now the only difference between the 7-gallon tank and the 12-gallon tank in this one is that the other ones are really deeper. So the footprints are really the same. The only differential is really the height and the holding capacity of each one of these tanks. Okay, we'll slip this off here too as well. And we'll take off the packing on it. I'll lift this on up. Now let me show you as we take a look at the inside of this tank here too as well. This is what you'll see. This particular area here is really where you hold your post charcoal filter. It's actually, to give you an idea, that carbon filter is really a cupped filter. It looks just like this here. Coconut grade charcoal within that filter, and you just set it within this ring. Also in your package, you're going to have this as we open this on up. You're going to have your faucet. If you notice, it has a sight gauge on here too, and the sight gauge is going to be different or taller depending on what capacity tank that you're going to be getting. Of course, the larger the tank, the larger the sight gauge, so you can actually tell where the water is. Kind of interesting when you use this, a lot of people don't realize this, but when you lift it like this, it's going to pour what you want to it for a certain length of time that you want to. But let's just say that if you wanted to fill a larger container, you just turn it over this way and leave it that way until it fills that container. This is true for all the distillers that we carry, by the way, that have sight gauges. This particular feature is a constant within them. Also, if you take a look at this, which we're really proud of, it has stamped made in the US of A. We're really, really proud of that. These distillers that are made in the United States of America and Canada are by far the best ones made in the world, and they're shipped all over the world as well. Plus, all our distillers, along with this one, many of them are used by the United States military and armed forces and United States embassies. And once again, the preferred, because they're the best ones, are those that are made in the United States of America. Going back to this faucet here, you now can put this faucet in two particular places. With the faucet, you have a nut that comes with it, and also a gasket that you would use for it. The gasket goes on the inside. You can place the faucet here, or we'll turn around to this side, or this, which would be the front side of the distiller. Let me move that up here so you can see that. On the inside, you would then place this, put this on the inside lip of it with the flat side towards the wall of the distiller, and then you would tighten it up with this particular nut. As you do that, sometimes if you take, I'm going to take this over to the side of this because you can actually drape it right over the side of your counter. You can just tighten that nut with one hand. I generally like to put this, I don't know if you can see this, but hopefully you can. I'm laying this faucet here on the side. I'm tightening it up as much as I possibly can on the inside of it. Now once I've tightened that up with the gasket in there, as tight as I can tighten it by hand, then I will, let me continue this, make it just a little bit tighter. And again, you use your fingers, you do not have to use a tool. Just do it as tight as you can with your fingers. Once you've reached that point, then you can just turn this around and lift this up to get that extra torque. And you should have quite a bit of resistance, so it stands straight up like this. As you do this, I would share that you really, that you also put some water on the bottom of this before you put it into production, so that you can see if you tighten it enough. It's a polymer, so always beware not to over tighten that, and you're ready to go. Okay, now we're getting ready to put the head on the tank, and as you can see, there's this cupped charcoal coconut grade filter in here, and we'll place that in that O circle ring that we'll place it right here. Now I've just got through tightening up the side gauge as you saw, and I'm going to come around to the front so you can see me put it on here as well. I'm lifting that up because this goes just below the edge of any counter that you put this on. At this point in time, you'll see that it goes just a bit below that. We're going to move it over here. Also, you may wonder, some of you are wondering, well, what are you going to do with this other hole here if you're not going to use this hole? Remember, I can place this in this spot so you can take advantage of an area that's a little wider, or if you have a deep area that's not so wide, you can then place that on this side as well. Now right now we're going to leave it as it is because we're going to use the width. We have a counter or a space that's not too deep, so this works for us right now. But you're looking at this and you're saying, well, what about that hole right here? Well, that hole again is used for a demand pump if you want to use it later on for your demand pump, or if you don't have one at the moment, and you don't have to have one at the moment, then you can just go back to your package and you'll see you have these two items here, which are your plugs. It's threaded, it's a male thread, and you have your nut here, so you just simply put this on your other side, excuse me. We'll put this in like this, and then tighten it up, tighten the nut on the inside of it. You can actually do both ways. You can choose to tighten it out here, or tighten it on the inside. Here you go. I've got to watch a little more carefully what I'm doing here. Okay, so that's set in there. Here as well, you have these little tabs that you'll find in this little bag, and you can set these little tabs on the bottom of your distiller, of the bottom of your base of your distiller when it's a countertop. This one again is your countertop distiller, your smaller tank. You can set it on a shelf if you wanted to as well, but it has to be quite sturdy if you need to put it up here where you have limited counter space. Or you can put it on a stand or a counter or wherever else it might fit as well. So you'll cut these on off and place them here on the bottom of it so it adheres and so that you can move it around without scratching anything. And that's how you set up the bottom. Now let's do this. So I'm going to set this back in here, put this aside. Well, this is what we'll do next. We're going to put the head, which has been sitting on this cardboard stand. We're going to take that off. And we're going to set it on top of the distiller. Now it's set there on top of the distiller, and then again I'll show this back to you. This is where you'll put in your incoming water line. Once that's set, and please feel free to give us a call, by the way, if in fact you're a little further along than this and need some help in reference to the installation of any of these tanks or these tank heads or maintaining them. This is the way you're going to unpack it. You're going to set it up. Thank you so much.